Hello there, World of Tankers. Welcome to the channel. Hopefully all of you are doing well out there. I'm, of course, your host, Droodles, and in today's video, we're going to be playing in the Leopard 1 and comparing it to the STB-1. Of course, both of these are Tier 10 medium tanks, and extremely solid ones at that. Now, while I will say the Leopard is definitely a lot harder to run than the STB, it also can be a lot more rewarding, because the Leopard has by far the best Tier 10 medium gun in the game. 3,600 DPM if you're running gun rammer. Of course, I'm running calibrated because I want to have that extra pen, but it's still 3,400 DPM. The penetration is great at 268 premiums, enough to get through pretty much any frontal armor. Not only that, but the aiming time and the dispersion is just truly fantastic, with 2.8 seconds and .272. So you can see where the Leopard 1's gun is fantastic. Not only that, the tank goes 66 kilometers per hour, very quick on mobility as well. So everything on the Leopard is kind of based on the gun and the mobility. When you move over to the STB, however, it looks very similar to the Leopard, as you can tell. However, it's very different on the way it plays. The gun, you'll notice, is not nearly as accurate. .308 dispersion, while it is good, is dwarfed by the Leopard 1. Not only that, but the aiming time as well is actually the same. I'm actually very surprised in that. But the dispersion I can see on the STB is not necessarily the best. It definitely does tend to miss a couple of its shots. Not only that, but it's about 500 less damage per minute than the Leopard 1, which again is a major difference. So these vehicles have a lot of similarities, but a lot of differences. But the main advantage of the STB is actually having armor. This tank loses a little bit of that mobility to gain massive armor on the front. It has pretty much an impenetrable turret when it is in a hull-down position, and that's also the same for the frontal armor if you are working it correctly, because of course this tank has 10 degrees of gun depression. So we're going to be starting off with the STB-1, and of course if you enjoyed today's type of video, I actually did do a poll so you guys could vote and decide what tanks you wanted to see compared. So if you want to vote on what tanks you want to see compared or future video ideas in general, please make sure to smash that subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell. But without further ado, let's get straight into the first game. So this battle here, we are up against the Sheridan and as well the T-54. That's the only mediums I do see. Now I'm going to be pushing the STB right into this bush first of all, just to kind of work this position, see if anybody is going to try and push here, maybe cross through mid. This is a great spot to, as I said in the title, spot. Now the STB actually has fantastic spotting range on the tank. It's able to, outspot that Sheridan back there. In fact, I think this tank has very similar spotting range to the Sheridan. Now I will give that T-54 credit, although that shot that hit me, a very weird one at that. I'm not really expecting a shot to go like that. So I'm going to pop back up here, see if we can start spotting again. This tank, I think, has the second best view range in the game. I'm not 100% sure on that, because Wargaming did actually nerf it, but like that E100 there, easily spotting the E100. Although, that's where the dispersion, you can tell, on the STB is not necessarily the best, kind of not going where I want it to on that E100, but that's fine, because we'll shoot a heat shell right through the guy's turret. As you can tell, that's where the gun depression works. I can very easily work this ridgeline, and spam shells right into that E100's turret, not even worrying about him hitting me, to be fair. So we got the T-54 pulling out now. I might be able to get a shot into that T-54. I doubt it. We spotted yet another tank now. The T-30 detected. Nice little tap right into the track wheel. You can start to see why the STB is just doing a great job. So we've already done a little bit of damage here. Not the most, but I don't, of course, don't want to push way too aggressive because it's going to hurt me quite a bit. So there's another nice tap right into that T-30, already taking off half of his total hit points. And since we didn't get detected, I can push back up into this position here. Just going to make sure I'm not sticking my tank through the position. But now that we're here, I can kind of just wait patiently and see what the enemy team is doing. Now, of course, I could do this in a Leopard as well, and I probably would be sitting at a little more damage, just damage, yes. Damage and damage, that is my English today, but I could probably be sitting at more damage in the Leopard just because I would have hit that one shot on the E100. But right now, I don't really want to over-aggress, because if I do, well, you obviously know it's going to happen. I'm going to be shot in the side, or I'm going to be shot in the front, but since there are a lot of tanks getting taken out on the enemy team, and we know the T-30 is already dead, we have the T-57 Heavy right out in the open, and as well the Sheridan is over on the side. Now, since the Sheridan's right over here, I'm going to try and see if we can maybe get some shots into the Sheridan. There is the T-54. Nice little HE shell right up the butt, but oof, E4 sitting right at the back of the map. That really did hurt me quite a bit. But you know what? We're still getting out damage, so I can't necessarily complain the most. We're sitting at about 2,500 damage, so it's not a terrible amount. We are sitting actually very respectable on the damage for especially how quick the battle's going. But I'm definitely going to try and reposition here. There's no point for me to try and fight when their E4 is sitting there. You know, it's just kind of a lost situation for me. So that Sheridan hopefully is going to spot maybe the E4, or he's going to be shot by him. We're going to find find out. But, yep, there you go. The E4 did end up shooting my teammate. So I'm going to see if I can get a shot maybe into, like, the 57 Heavy while that Sheridan is pushing aggressive. 57 Heavy's probably... Actually, I'm not sure where that 57 went, to be fair. But there you go. Sheridan getting a nice shot in. The E4 is right over there. So that means the 57 is off to the side, which we can see detected. I was spotted, but that's not the biggest worry right now. I really want to get some shots into this 57 Heavy's turret, which... Ooh, actually a bounce there. But I really wouldn't do that if I were you, Sheridan. Yep, there you go. The E4 missed his shot on the side of me, which is fantastic, of course, for me. And there you go. Getting that one bounce in the turret. We're going to be able to reload one more shell before my Sheridan does. So let's get one shot in right on that turret weak spot. Oof, we broke his turret, but definitely I'm going to have to fire one more shell to finish off this guy, unless my teammate hits him. But there you go. Getting the finishing shot into you. We also have the E4 right off to the side, who's probably going to be taken out by that Sheridan. But for the first game here, you can see that the STB did a very solid job. 3,200 damage. I was able to push aggressive. I was able to do the roll of the tank, and you couldn't really see the turret really do its job. But when you're running this tank in a gun depression position, and where you saw me running it in a gun depression position there, it pretty much makes me impervious to any rounds coming at me. I like to stop at that bush now lately, just because it gives me an idea of where the enemy team's pushing, and as you can see, worked very well for my damage. I was able to get out a lot, and I was able to support my team the way they needed the support. Now, the Leopard 1 is a very, very different playstyle, and while I could have worked that exact same position in the Leopard and probably done the same damage, I would have done the exact same stuff there. The difference is with the Leopard is I probably would not have pushed aggressive on that 57 Heavy. I probably would have flanked. Again, with that E4, I probably wouldn't have tried to push as aggressive as I knew he was on the side. So it's a lot of different positioning with the Leopard because it has absolutely no armor. The front plate does occasionally bounce shots, and a lot of people just shoot HE at this thing, which means that, yeah, occasionally the HE will not penetrate, but even if it doesn't, it's still going to take off upwards of 500, even 600 hit points sometimes. The issue for this tank is if a 183 is aiming at you, or let's say like that 268, the Yag Tiger, the VK72, honestly, any tank on their team that has a big gun, it's going to butter right through my armor with the penetration. Now, we got a nice shot right into that Sheridan off the bat. That's something I am definitely going to want to do, because of course it is a Sheridan. Well, let's see if we can get one more shot into the Sheridan. Well, that was my fault. Oh, you know what? It wasn't my fault. I thought that I exposed my lower plate and he got the shot in there, but, well, as you can see, he literally just went right through the gun mantlet there. My fun luck. But, you know what? The Sheridan peeking his tank out once again. We'll see if we can get another right shot in, but you know what? I'm detected. Ah, there you go. That's bouncing the turret like I wanted it to. I was kind of sketched out what was going to happen, but you know what? We're getting out the damage. Another nice tap into that VK72. So we're already sitting at, in this really quick amount of time, 1,200 damage, and that's, of course, what the Leopard's great at doing, is getting out those really quick damage numbers. The Sheridan is still kind of stuck here, as you can see, and of course, with that Sheridan being stuck there, we can get another nice tap right into that Sheridan. I did get detected from that, but I'm not too worried, because, yeah, we're going to be able to tap that Sheridan pretty easily every single time. So the question is, am I going to get shot in the side from the Sheridan when I'm trying to cross here? Because, yeah, I have a feeling I will be, but you know what? It's not the end of the planet. Let's get another nice tap. There you go. Just lowering that Sheridan's life expectancy a little bit more. This poor Leopard is going to be taken out right about now. Put on that aiming time, and there you go. So right off the bat, we're sitting at a very respectable amount of damage. Now, of course, that 268's aiming dead at me. So this Mark 6, yeah, you're going to get a big, hefty shell shoved right into your tank, unless, of course, that 268 does that, but ooh, we're going to back up. No, thank you. Not right now. Okay, there we go. Okay, so the enemy team, oh, that's the IS right there. Not really too worried about him because he can't shoot me, but there are a lot of tanks still here, as you can see. We got the Yag Tiger right out in the front. Let's get a nice tracking shot onto that Yag, and he does have the stock gun, and that Yag did just fire as well, which means we can tap, oh, a bounce there, but I know we're going to actually out-reload the gun he has on that tank, so we're going to fire one shell into the lower plate. That was also a tracking shot, it looked like. There we go. Yag firing again, getting a high roll on that Chieftain. Oh, my luck is not really liking me right now. That is, that's fantastic. Well, you know what? This Chieftain's going to take the shot, I guess, for me, and we'll finish off the Yag. I'm going to make sure that shot does not bounce that time. We also know the 268's off to the side, but I don't want to be necessarily hit by that IS-7 as well. The IS-7's aiming dead down that alleyway. So let's see if we can get a shot into that IS-7 as he's aiming at my teammate. There you go. Teammate got hit, and now we can aim right on that lower plate. There's a nice tap, and of course we should be able to tap at least one more shell into that IS-7, just because we have such a quick reload on this vehicle. But, oh, that's a 57 heavy. No, thank you. No, 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 no. That is not what I want to play with. Yeah, this is going to hurt quite a bit. But you know what? It's not the end of the planet, because now this is where I get out the DPM, of course. I can easily track that 57, apparently. Not penetrate him, but, you know what? He's got to reload the whole clip. We are a clip ability to die, but you know what? We damage his ammo rack there. Going to make his reload even longer. And we're still getting out crazy amounts of damage here. This is where the Leopard really does good in its element. I'm able to get out crazy amounts of damage. I'm not even worried about this guy reloading his clip in time, so there you go. Finishing him off. Now we got the VK72 IS-2 off to the side. Of course, I want to finish off this IS-7 right off the bat, so aiming on the lower plate, finishing off the IS-7, and we're already sitting at over 5,000 damage this battle. And I honestly do think that the STB would have done good here, but it probably would not have been able to farm that much damage, because of course, that's what the Leopard's good at. It's able just to really pump out the DPM, and sadly, even a couple of our shots didn't want to go in there. But where is this VK? He was right here. He must be on the other side of this rock or something. Yep, there you go. So the VK's right here. He's probably looking at the Mark 6, which he is. So we're going to tap one shell in there, and the VK fired. The Mark 6 bounced, and we have such a quick reload. I honestly think we can even out-reload. Well, maybe not. The Mark 6 is putting on adrenaline as well. As you can see, Mark 6 got in the shot, but that was a fantastic battle played by the Leopard. A little bit sketchy at the beginning, a little bit tricky with that 57 heavy, but well, you can see that as a mastery for 6,106 damage, and that is why the Leopard is such a fantastic vehicle. So personally for me, I actually do enjoying to play the Leopard better. The reason for that being is because it's got more DPM, it's a little bit more enjoyable, it's quicker on the mobility, and as well, it's got the most accurate gun in tier 10. Now, while a couple of my shots like on that Yag were kind of weird, I just love playing this tank because it gets out the damage. It does a great job at it. And if you know what you're doing, this tank is, in my opinion, better than the STB just because a skilled player running the Leopard can do a fantastic job in the battlefield. Now, while the STB, in my opinion, is one of the strongest tier 10s currently in the game, it has the second highest win rate out of all tier 10 mediums. The reason I'll say that I enjoy the Leopard more is, first of all, the STB is just kind of an average tank. It's kind of like the E5 in my opinion, where it's got good gun depression, it's got good mobility, it's got good DPM, but it doesn't really have anything special going for it. The Leopard 1 has that excellent mobility and as well the gun going for it. This tank, it's just kind of good on everything. So I do think the STB is better in most scenarios just for the average player, but if you're running a Leopard, you can most likely get out more damage if you are, again, in a very good position knowing what you're doing. So both of them are spectacular. Of course, if you wanted to grind either of these tanks, I wouldn't hesitate at all to let you go which one to go for. But I will say if you're a newer player, go for the Leopard 1 line, just because, honestly, while the STB-1 is a great tier 10 and it's easier for new players to run, yeah, the Type 61, oh yeah, no thank you. That is not a tank I would love to play. Even though the DPM is good on the tank, the penetration's good, the Type 61's hull armor is absolute trash. Where, you know what, the Leopard PTA actually isn't awful when you do have that top gun on it, but at the same time, both of the tier 9s are awful stock, so yeah, it's just kind of which one do you want to suffer with more to get to that tier 10? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, of course, which tank you like better. But if you enjoyed today's video, as always, please make sure to smash that subscribe button down below, and hope you're all doing well out there. Stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.